A sharp gust of wind tore through Maple Street, whipping fallen leaves into a chaotic dance. Mr. Adam, frail and hunched, slipped on the icy sidewalk, his cane clattering across the pavement. His heart raced. "Sir, watch out!" Rachel Morgan, 17, sprinted forward, her backpack bouncing wildly. She lunged, grabbing his arm just in time, her fingers trembling. "Oh, thank you," Mr. Adam gasped, gripping her hand tightly. I don't know what I'd have done." They caught their breath, the wind tugging at their coats, and then a sudden crack of wood splitting rang from the alley nearby. A shadow flickered across the street, fast and sharp. Neither of them saw it yet, but whatever it wasn't just another passerby. Before we move forward, tell us in the comments, where are you watching from and what time is it right now? And don't forget to like and subscribe to Blackened, wronged for more heart-touching stories. Let's get started. The evening air bit sharply at Rachel's cheeks as she hurried along Maple Street. The orange glow of the sun had vanished behind the rooftops, leaving shadows stretching across the icy sidewalk. Mr. Adam, the elderly man, shuffled beside her, his cane scraping faintly against the ice. She noticed his hands trembling, not just from the cold. There was something lonelier hidden beneath his frail gestures. "Do you live nearby?" Rachel asked softly, hoping her voice could warm the silence. "Just a few blocks," he replied. But his eyes flicked nervously down the empty street. "But tonight, something feels different." A sudden gust of wind swept past, carrying icy flakes that stung their faces. Rachel's backpack slipped, and somewhere behind them, a tree branch cracked sharply. Both froze. I hope the bus comes soon," Mr. Adam murmured, his voice tight. "It feels like a long night ahead, and not just because of the cold." Rachel looked up at the darkening sky. The street seemed too quiet, too still, like the city itself was holding its breath. A shadow shifted near the corner, disappearing as quickly as it came. Her heart raced. Something or someone was watching. And for the first time, Rachel wondered if the night was about to change everything. The wind outside was growing stronger, snowflakes slapping against the windshield. Rachel's hands trembled on the steering wheel, her breath puffing clouds in the freezing cabin. We might be stuck here for the night," she whispered, her voice barely audible over the whistling storm. Mr. Adams' eyes widened, but he tried to hide his fear. "It's okay, Rachel. We'll figure it out together." Snow piled fast, swallowing the road behind them under a thick white blanket. The car shuddered as ice cracked under the tires. Rachel fumbled for her phone. One buzz, then dead. Panic tightened her chest. "I guess we really are on our own," Mr. Adams said quietly, voice trembling. For the first time, Rachel saw him, not the gentle old man who smiled at the bus stop, but someone fragile and scared. A sudden howl of wind rattled the car. Rachel's heart skipped. She glanced out the window. Something moved in the shadows beyond the headlights. A fleeting shape or just a trick of the storm? "Do you think we'll make it?" she whispered. The storm roared louder than their fear, and the dark figure or shadow vanished, leaving only silence. And the sense that they were not entirely alone. Rachel stepped out of the car, her boots sinking into the snow with every step. The storm's roar swallowed her words, but she could just make out Mr. Adam behind her. "Rachel, maybe we should stay in the car," he shouted over the wind. She shook her head, teeth chattering. "No, there's a cabin not far from here. We have to try." The snowstorm was relentless, blinding, and every shadow looked like a threat. Rachel stumbled over a hidden tree root, falling hard, her hands scraping against the frozen ground. Mr. Adam rushed to her side. "Are you okay?" he asked, his voice full of concern. She nodded, though tears mixed with the falling snow. They kept moving, the cabin just a faint outline through the white blur. Then Rachel froze. A sudden crack echoed through the trees, and the snow around them shifted as if something had moved. Her heart pounded. "Did you hear that?" she whispered. Mr. Adams' face went pale. "We're not alone." "I think we're not alone," he said, his voice barely audible. The wind gusted harder, and in that instant, the forest felt enormous, endless, and terrifying. Through the blizzard, a faint warm glow appeared ahead. Rachel squinted. That must be it. "The cabin!" she shouted, her voice nearly lost in the wind. Mr. Adam gripped her arm, helping her through the thick snow. Each step felt heavier, the cold biting their faces, but the light gave them hope. They reached the cabin door, frozen shut. Rachel tried the handle. Locked. Panic surged. It's locked. What do we do? She gasped. Mr. Adam looked around and spotted a small side window. We can try through here, he said, lifting her up. She crawled inside first, shivering, her heart racing. The cabin smelled of wood smoke and old blankets. They quickly gathered sticks for a fire. Rachel struck a match, but it fizzled. She tried again, finally. The flames flickered to life, casting a warm glow on their pale, frozen faces. Relief washed over them. For a moment, the world outside seemed far away. They were safe, warm together. Rachel exhaled deeply. I thought we weren't going to make it. Mr. Adams smiled faintly, but then his eyes widened toward the shadowy corner of the cabin. Wait, did you hear that? The fire crackled, throwing soft shadows across the cabin walls. Rachel sank onto the floor, wrapping her arms around her knees. Mr. Adams sat beside her, his eyes distant, staring into the flames. I never thought I'd be stuck like this, Rachel whispered, her voice trembling. Mr. Adams shook his head slowly. Neither did I, but sometimes it takes a storm to see what really matters, he said softly. Rachel looked at him, noticing the sadness hidden behind his calm eyes. You mean, we mean something to each other? She asked, unsure. A loud gust of wind rattled the cabin window, and for a moment both flinched. Rachel's heart raced, but so did something else, a strange warmth, a feeling of trust and closeness. We have to stick together no matter what, Mr. Adam added, his hand brushing hers. The storm outside roared, but inside their hearts felt safer, connected. Yet just as Rachel began to relax, a sudden crackling sound came from the ceiling beam above. Dust fell, tiny shards of ice glinting in the firelight. Rachel froze. What was that? Rachel's eyes widened as more tiny pieces of ice and wood fell from the ceiling. We need to move, now, Mr. Adams said, grabbing her hand. The wind outside howled even louder, rattling the cabin walls like the storm itself was pounding on them. Rachel's heart pounded in her chest as she followed him toward the far corner of the cabin. Just as they reached the small wooden table, a loud crack echoed from above, the ceiling beam above. Them groaned under the weight of ice and snow. Dust and tiny splinters rained down. Rachel ducked instinctively, shivering, her breath fogging in the cold cabin air. This place, it might not hold much longer, Mr. Adams said, his voice tense but steady. For a moment, panic tried to take over. Every instinct screamed to run, outside into the storm, but that would be even more dangerous. They huddled together in the corner, hands clutching each other for warmth and courage. Outside, the wind shrieked, shaking the cabin as if testing their will to survive. Rachel whispered almost to herself, "Will we make it through this?" The answer was uncertain, and the storm had more surprises in store. Suddenly, a faint beam of light cut through the swirling white outside. Rachel squinted, her heart jumping. "Is that a car? Or someone?" she whispered. Mr. Adams' face lit up with cautious hope. "Hang on. Don't move too fast," he said, guiding her to the window. Through the storm, they saw headlights approaching, flickering but real. The sound of an engine roared against the howling wind, and for the first time in hours, Rachel felt a small spark of relief. The snow around the cabin shimmered as the vehicle drew closer, and the driver's voice shouted, "Are you okay in there?" Mr. Adam waved frantically. Rachel's teeth chattered, but a smile broke through her fear. "We made it. Help is here," she said, clutching his hand. Slowly, carefully, the rescuers guided them out of the cabin, their coats and scarves soaked, but their spirits lifted. As they stepped into the rescue truck, the storm still raged, but it no longer felt threatening. Instead, it felt like a challenge they had survived together. Rachel looked at Mr. Adam and whispered, "I never thought we'd make it." He smiled softly. "Neither did I. But we did." The storm had quieted, leaving soft snowflakes falling like tiny stars around them. Rachel and Mr. Adam sat in the warm cabin of the rescue truck, wrapped in blankets, their breaths slowing as the fear finally melted into relief. She looked at him and realized something she hadn't understood before. The hours of waiting, the cold, the worry, it had brought them closer, made their bond unshakable. "I never thought a simple bus stop could turn into something like this," Rachel said softly, eyes glistening. Mr. Adam chuckled, his usual quiet smile warmer than ever. "Life has a strange way of teaching us lessons," he replied. "Sometimes the people we least expect become the ones we rely on the most." Outside, Riverside was calm again, lights twinkling through the snow. Rachel took a deep breath, feeling gratitude swell inside her heart. She realized that moments of fear and uncertainty could also become moments of courage, connection, and love. As they finally headed back to Maple Street, Rachel turned to Mr. Adam and said, "Thank you for everything." He nodded gently, "And thank you too. If this story touched your heart, share it and subscribe to Black and Wronged for more heart-touching stories."